Network shows. Join Rick Brooks and Mike Kogel as they explore the TV of the 70s and 80s through hand-picked episodes of their favorite and not-so-favorite series.
Welcome to Battle of the Network shows, and that special music means it's that special time of year. It's the holidays.
Very special time of year.
Time of good cheer. Time of bad weather. Good food.
Okay.
A lot of marketing.
I mean, like going to the market?
Yes, going
your
to the
supplies?
market. Right, to get the supply. No encouragement from the marketeers. They're just happy that you're there. They're not trying to get you there or anything.
No, it's
There's nothing commercial about this.
It's all altruistic. It's all about the spirit, the holiday spirit.
That's right.
And it's a time of holiday specials.
Yeah. Holiday specials, and we here at Battle of the Network shows like to talk about maybe more obscure specials. Specials you might have seen back then, but maybe haven't seen in a long time. We encourage you to go back and listen to last year's holiday special and make it a part of your holiday special routine every year.
I think that's an excellent idea.
It's an evergreen.
Yes. Feel free to put it in the rotation.
That's right.
And maybe you'll get something new out of it each time you listen to it.
Yeah.
You know, crank up the old Yule log and no need to put on some tunes unless they're soft tunes in the background so that you can hear us talking.
Yeah.
But just relive that episode every year.
That's right.
And now I think we're adding to that holiday tradition with yet another one this year.
That's right. We've already given you almost 2 hours of programming in one special, and you're going to get at least another hour here probably.
Well, that may be a little ambitious. We'll see how it goes. You might not have enough time to get through a whole Christmas album. You might take a short one or a kid's one if you got that on the background, because I'm not sure how far we'll go with this one, but you never know.
So, we're going to be talking about The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, a animated special about a bear who really doesn't sleep through Christmas.
The title's misleading.
Title is because all the other bears sleep through Christmas.
Yes, and I guess he has in the past, to be fair.
Yes.
So, but this is like the year the bear didn't sleep through Christmas would be more apt.
Yeah. So it's from, 1973?
Yes, it premiered December 17th, 1973. Monday night, 8 p.m. So that's pretty late in the holiday season. I mean, nowadays I think we may have even talked about this before, how the Christmas specials are on the air like earlier and earlier every year, it seems like. I didn't remember that when I was a kid, seeing Rudolph or something like on November 27th. It seemed like it was more around this time. But
they start at New Year's now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. They get way ahead on these, but so this is 8 days before the holiday, but this is the last. I guess it would have been the last week. Yeah, full week before Christmas that year. So and it's one that I've known of it. It's been around, and I seem to sort of have vague memories of it, but it's not one that's on every year. It hasn't made the grade as far as those that keep getting recycled and shown over and over again. But when I was kind of poking around looking for information on it, I see a lot of reactions from people. Oh, the bears slept through Christmas. People that would like it to come back and or at least get some kind of DVD release, which I don't believe it has gotten so far.
Right. But it is available in some digital platforms, including the Amazon Tubi TV.
Yes, and it's been on others in the past, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it was on Netflix for a while, maybe, and it apparently got a VHS release back in the day. And it was floating around many places until rather recently, I think. The current rights holder has put the kibosh on any free streaming of it that's not licensed or authorized by it. So, but Lionsgate has the rights to it, and who knows, maybe we'll see it surface on some television outlet someday. It seems unlikely unless it's one of these like digital sub-channels, though. I could see somebody bringing it back and packaging it with some of these other 1970s, 80s ones that we talk about that aren't as well known.
Do any of those digital sub-channels do that right now? Do like holiday specials?
I think so. I'm trying to think the last time. I know they show like Christmas episodes of established ones. Yes, as a matter of fact, I think Get TV. Like I don't get TV right now, but I think last year they were showing some of some of the more obscure animated ones actually, and some variety shows, things like that. So, folks, there's a chance, but we've named a few ways to see The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas. So,
right.
And Tubi TV is a free service. Amazon Prime, many of you have it and are enjoying your non-marketed, non-commercial Christmas delights that you're getting through Amazon. So, maybe you can enjoy The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, which is a half hour, sort of, as we'll get to, I guess.
Yeah.
The presentation on Amazon Prime is much, much different than it is on other platforms, I think.
Yeah. And I don't know about where you watched it, but I have a Fire TV, and the picture they had to go along with this. I mean, they had the artwork, but then they have like a, when you're on the page before you hit play, they have a photograph that goes along with it, and it was from a movie that had with Taye Diggs in it.
What? Wow.
It listed some of the actors, and they weren't the top named actors, so I didn't know at first if this was even the right thing.
Yeah.
I had to play it just to make sure, because the star of the thing wasn't listed.
Right.
It was more like the sort of regular voiceover people who did the supporting characters.
So you risked getting at worst you would have gotten maybe a delightful Christmas comedy starring Taye Diggs.
Yeah, it looked like a rom-com.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I guess you did get The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, though.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that in mine. I just saw I think a thumbnail from the actual special.
Right.
But from what I can understand, this premiered on NBC, and then CBS ran it in 1978. So it changed networks there, and I don't have much record of it being on after that. There was a sequel. There's a short-lived revival attempt in the 1980s, and there's a sequel of sorts to it.
Right.
But the Bear Who Slept Through Christmas is one that.
And it's not. I mean, it's an original idea.
Yeah, I guess it's based on a book.
Is it? I couldn't. I was confused about that.
Like this, John Barrett created the character of Ted E. Bear. Which, wow, what a stroke of genius it was to come up with that, right?
Right.
And yeah, and another thing that's weird is when I had the crack research team digging up some information on this, I kept coming across a vintage TV ad, which I think was for the original broadcast on NBC. You may have seen this yourself as well, but it's they got The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, and it says back by popular demand or something like that, implying that it had been on before or something. So maybe it was for a rerun, a repeat airing, but I don't think it was. But why would it be back by popular demand in 1973 when it was the debut? Maybe the public was already clamoring for Teddy Bear in some form. I don't know. That's something we'll have to continue to investigate.
Yeah, maybe there was a previous version.
Possible.
From early television.
Yeah.
Maybe this book had been around that long.
Yeah, like the Dumont Network had the original Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, and they couldn't find the kinescopes, so they just made a whole new special.
Yeah, gave it a little early 70s spin, and went with it.
The original was narrated by Steve Allen, I believe.
Yeah,
the 1948 version of The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas.
I believe so, and I believe he also played Ted E. Bear.
Yes, he did.
In a bear suit.
Yes, with a wink and a nod to the audience.
Right. The folks that did the Pink Panther cartoons made this.
Yeah, and I think they also did some of the like the Cat in the Hat in the 70s and some other specials. The De Pate.
Yeah.
Freeling
Right.
organization. Yeah, did the Pink Panther and the Inspector, Ant and the Aardvark. And this doesn't quite, it's a rather unassuming animation style, I would say, but it's fine for what it is.
I like it. I mean,
it doesn't look really like the Pink Panther, for example.
It's like more, I would say, they put a little more into it than, or it's not as simple as the Pink Panther.
Yeah, there's...
And yet it's in the, I would say it's in the vein of not this quality, but later Disney movies, like The Jungle Book and like that. So it's sketchy, and sometimes the backgrounds are just like lines that imply something, but then but there's more detail to it than you would think.
Right. And
like, so it's not like, I mean, it's a little bit like later Looney Tunes too, where they kind of simplify the backgrounds, but then it's still more complicated. But like their buildings, and none of the buildings are straight lines. Everything's kind of angular and loose, I guess. And I like that about it. I think it was a good look.
Yeah, I agree. And it seems sort of reminiscent of a children's book, especially I think the second half of it. I guess you could say there's probably two sort of distinct halves to this, or sections. And I especially like the second part of it. And there's almost like two different atmospheres for these two parts.
A warm autumnal atmosphere.
Very nice, yes.
And a gritty urban atmosphere.
A gritty urban, yes. As Teddy Bear wanders the streets of the city.
Mean streets.
Yes.
He belongs to the city.
So, yeah, should we get into, I guess, telling everybody what this is about?
Yeah, I guess. Clearly a bear.
Yes, and Tommy Smothers is the voice of Teddy Bear.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
He does a good job. I think he's a good protagonist. I liked his performance quite a bit. And he works at a honey manufacturing, like a honey company.
That's right, the organic honey company.
Yeah. Way ahead of its time, this movie was. Organic honey.
Run by C. Emery Bear.
Yeah.
Apparently everyone has the last name Bear.
Yeah.
I'm really, hoping, or definitely want to get into the whole bear world.
Yeah, well, there's...
I'm fascinated by it.
Really?
So the bears have a very almost human-like world going on. They've got factories, they've got apartments, they've got public transportation, media.
Yeah. They got this whole infrastructure.
Airplanes.
Yeah.
There's a city somewhere in California called Bearbank.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff going on. They're still interested in bear things. I mean, I don't know. I guess people make food. In humans have to work in food things and stuff, but still the idea of putting bear as a honey plant. Yeah. Everything else about cartoon bears has told us that they would just eat the product.
Yeah, or get stuck, in various parts of the factory.
Yeah, trying to get it. And then, so there's all that, and that's cool and fun cartoon kind of thing. The part maybe I enjoy the most about that is which is the kind of the crux of the thing, but the bears are really insistent on the hibernation to the point where C. Emery Bear, who in every other way is your standard sort of industrial boss, is making announcements about, well, we're shutting down for the winter.
Yeah.
Get ready to go to sleep. I'd like that in our world.
Well, we've I think you and I have talked before about how some companies they'll just shut down for 2 weeks over the Christmas and New Year's holiday because nobody's going to get anything done anyway.
Right.
So perhaps this is a savvy business move.
It seems like, I mean, bears. Yeah. What else are they going to do? But it's just the encouragement of it, like, and that no bear has thought, we could, if we just stayed awake, we could make more money.
Yeah.
I didn't see any money. I mean, that wasn't.
Yeah,
there must have been.
Although, well, when he goes to buy he must need some kind of currency in order to buy the ticket that he tries to get later, right?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an accounts receivable department at the honey factory. Like what?
Right.
We don't really see the accounting end of it, do we?
No, we
like,
see.
and how it's being distributed.
Yeah, that's true. Presumably by trucks driven by bears. Yeah, so we see the boss. We see guys working on the line,
Yeah.
and we see Patty Bear, who's the boss's secretary, and might be Ted's girlfriend.
Well, I kind of hope not, for reasons we'll get into later, because it's not, the relationship's not going to last very long, I don't think.
No.
So maybe they're just like sort of good work friends.
Yeah. And she's voiced by Barbara Feldon from Get Smart.
Yes.
Also appeared on an episode of Search, among other things. And he's got a buddy. Are they roommates? I think they're roommates.
I guess they must
or
be
apartment mates.
Yeah, I guess they must be.
Frank, was that his name?
I don't know, quite remember what his name is, but
he's already falling asleep. That's the other thing. I guess the bears biologically, this is what they're going to do. So they might as well.
yeah, why fight it?
Yeah.
Although, now that you mention it, you'd think they could have like create robots or something to keep everything going.
That might be
some minimum of work, or at least keep the machines going while they're sleeping for a couple months.
Yeah,
but I guess it hasn't occurred to them.
Bears can only advance so much.
Yeah, I'll thank goodness for that.
Right.
Otherwise, there'd be no hope for us at all. We've been worried about robots the last couple of years. Maybe we should be worried about bears.
Robots and apes, so yeah, bears.
Yeah, bears could be quietly like just sitting and letting this whole robot human thing play out, and then they'll jump in. And so in the meantime, like each year, there's sort of like global warming is helping them, because each year they're slowly reducing their hibernation time in anticipation of the day when they can just take over the whole world.
That's right.
And go year round without having to sleep.
That's a good point. Like, I mean, at least in our area, people are seeing bears.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's true.
One was at the McDonald's near you, right?
Yeah. That
like a year or two ago.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember if he was actually in the McDonald's or by it, but yes, he was in the vicinity.
He was sitting in a booth,
pounding on the table, mad that they didn't have the McRib.
Yeah.
And he's like, I came out of hibernation for this. No, you don't have any McRibs still?
Right. So, and then the other thing, and we'll come back to this, but so there's the Bear Society and everything, and a lot of cartoons have that, and that's kind of neat. Or like, when you see it with mice or something, you're like, okay, that's cool. Mice are tiny. We don't know what's going on, but bears are bears.
Yeah,
bears are big.
Right.
Teddy bear's not that big, but bears in the world are fairly big.
Mm-hmm.
And yet this society is going on simultaneously to regular human society.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, isn't it?
So,
it's almost like...
I get, you could even go, okay, they're in the woods, and maybe in the woods this is going on, and people just don't notice that it's going on. But they have airplanes. Wouldn't they have to, maybe talk to the FAA about?
Yeah, right. There's got to be some
like the BAA and the
degree of cooperation. Yeah. Is it an entirely self-sufficient society they have going, or? And I thought at first, well, maybe there's some kind of like different vibrational frequencies, like Earth 1 and Earth 2.
Right.
But they don't really establish that. As a matter of fact, they indicate quite the opposite, that this is part of the same world that we inhabit.
Yeah.
If so, they're doing a great job of keeping in the shadows, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, and all that honey, maybe they're making it for us.
Could be. Maybe it's a different kind of honey than the kind of honey they like, and that's why they're not just totally undisciplined and eating it all the time.
It's not real.
They don't like organic honey.
No.
Go figure. The organic honey is for the granola types over here.
Yeah.
Whereas they like, that give them that good processed, artificially enhanced honey.
Right. Now, of course, Bee Movie would tell us that the bees are the ones making the honey.
Yeah.
And they have their own society too, but again, they're bees, so I could see us not knowing that.
Right. Yeah, that would be easier to hide away, I would think. The bears, you'd think, would be much more conspicuous by now.
Right.
Maybe that's why this special hasn't been seen very often. Maybe there's powerful interests in the bear community that don't want this out there. this window into the
Yeah.
Bear Society. It was a little too revealing.
Yeah, C. Emery Bear and his descendants or his heirs,
Yes.
his bear heirs, been fighting that.
Something worth looking into.
And then every winter, like, you know, humans get a little closer to revealing this because the bears are asleep.
Yeah. Right.
They can't lobby during.
Yeah, yeah.
They've had to hire some humans to lobby for them.
Maybe that Tay Diggs thing is part of this misinformation campaign that kind of throw you off.
Right.
And the fact that that it was on YouTube and now it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all starting to come together.
Big bear.
Folks, if you're still listening to this episode, we've successfully made it, but our time may be limited.
Yeah.
Please delete this recording for your own safety.
Right.
As soon as you make it to the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bear Society. So, the thing is, though, because they hibernate and shut down, they miss Christmas.
Yeah.
They miss out on Christmas.
Right.
And Teddy Bear, he doesn't want to accept that. He's a bit of a nonconformist.
He is. He's heard tales of Christmas.
Oh.
And I guess other bears have, too, because we have a professor who
Yes.
kind of explains it to us at some point.
Professor Werner von Bear, something like that.
Yes, on Bear Witness News.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he isn't. That's the word I thought of, too. Like, he's a nonconformist, and the rest of Bear Society is very conforming.
Yeah.
All based around the hibernation thing.
Yeah.
But they're all going, it's not that they just go to sleep. A lot of them they travel to hibernation destinations.
Yeah. It's an interesting scam somebody's got. Hey,
Yeah.
come here and sleep for 3 months.
Right. And there's another question. So, which maybe is a little like the, sort of the European holiday where like August or whatever is just everyone's on vacation.
Right.
Except for the people who work at the hotels and the restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when do they go on vacation? And in the case of the Bears, who's running these hotels? And I guess the restaurants don't matter because they're just asleep.
Yeah.
But, someone's got to be in charge.
Good point. Yeah. And
I don't know. Some raccoons or something?
Maybe it's another entirely different animal, maybe.
Yeah.
There could be some tension there, actually.
Yeah.
They're, importing other animals from other areas, and
As long as they're paying them.
could be a bad situation. Maybe it's a good situation. Maybe the raccoons make out like bandits. They're living it up and
Right.
don't have anybody bossing them around.
Mm-hmm. Every year, bears come home with a few less items than they took with them.
Right.
They've just accepted that that's part of
Yeah.
hibernation. Means you might lose something.
Yeah. It's a little tax.
A lot of bears take, fake jewelry with them.
Yeah.
Other fake items. Just
Yeah, something disposable.
yeah.
There's clearly enough material here to expand this universe
Yeah.
if they want to do another sequel.
Right.
But maybe this may all be covered in the books too.
It could be, yeah. I don't know.
But they're good questions to ask.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Ted. He wants to stay awake and experience Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other bears just think he's being a dope.
Yeah, they do. He's really kind of alone on this island, isn't he?
Yeah. And he's some sort of he has like a college degree. So I guess in philosophy or something. It's made him
Yeah, no wonder he's such a troublemaker.
yeah.
He's an intellectual.
Doesn't have sense to come in from the rain.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of support from anybody.
I mean,
From his friends, from his...
yeah, I think his buddy is just so tired that he's like, man. He says man a lot. And,
yeah.
He just doesn't care. He doesn't have the energy to care.
Yeah, he's like you said. He's already got 1 foot in his in the cave, and he's ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like many of us, when December rolls around, we're ready to be done with work.
Yeah.
He's already halfway there.
Yep. Patty's concerned. Mm-hmm. C. Emery Bear he doesn't like it. It's causing turmoil at the factory.
Yeah, those kind of ideas are not something you want being floated around your workplace.
No.
If you're in management.
I mean, what's next? A bear union?
No. Perish the thought. Perish the thought.
United Honey Workers?
Yeah, it could be. So he's probably, You actually maybe he should be encouraging Ted to kind of do what he winds up doing. Maybe he's probably not unhappy about that.
That's a good point.
Get rid of an agitator.
Yeah. Well,
potential agitator.
Yeah. And in fact, I mean, everybody. This is not the first time Ted's talked about this, but even like Bear Witness News gets involved and like puts him on TV, and that makes the organic honey company look bad.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want that. And then on the honey jar filling line, Ted works the I don't know what you would call it, but the dispenser. So he pulls a lever and it drops honey, and then he pushes the lever up. And he's talking about all this, and the guys are ribbing about it, and somehow he gets distracted and he leaves the honey dispenser open.
Yeah.
And causes just honey everywhere.
Yeah, that's absolute mayhem.
Which again, I guess, from the business point, that's product that is no longer useful, but you got a factory full of bears.
Yeah. You'd think that they would have no problem
cleaning
getting rid of that spill.
Right. And it's right before hibernation. They need to fatten up.
Yeah.
It'd just be chaos there.
It's really surprising that doesn't happen more often, whether by accident or not. Yeah. It is kind of menial labor, too, for a guy with a philosophy degree to be on this production line.
It really is.
It's no wonder he's got aspirations for other things.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a reflection on the times this was made. I mean, certainly I think the sort of nonconformity thing seems a little bit of its time.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's not an issue in other times, but it was in the early 70s, right after the end of the 60s.
Yes, and the casting of Tommy Smothers may not have been no accident.
Exactly.
As we know, Tommy Smothers single-handedly destroyed television with his controversial comedy.
Right.
In the
Interesting
late
that CBS picked it up later, since he destroyed CBS.
Yeah, I guess they let bygones be bygones.
Right. Yeah. He agreed to cut the scene with David Steinberg.
Yeah. Right. Well, by 1978, the nation's spirit had been broken. The hippies had given up.
Right. Nixon was out.
We were out of Vietnam, and it was just time.
Yeah.
To just go back to our bland conformity, and there was no worry about fostering dissent with stuff like this. It was time for Charlie's Angels and shows like that. So.
Yeah.
So it was safe.
Right. Audiences knew Teddy Bear was just dumb.
It was just dumb.
Nonconformity wasn't going to go anywhere.
Right. The original message was seen in a new way.
Yeah.
And actually, 1978, the country was just so terrible that just 30 minutes of a cartoon was enough, and people didn't need to think about it at all.
Right. They saw that that honey accident, and all they thought about was like they saw oil getting wasted.
Yeah.
Weird it didn't stick around.
Yeah. Yeah, there's I don't know why this didn't go on or linger after 1978, because I don't think all of our problems were solved with this rebroadcast of 1978, but there's a lot of different competing interests going on here with this. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of intrigue that we'll have to get to the bottom of, but maybe the bear lobby, like the human interests were fine.
Right.
But the bear interests, not so much.
Yeah. Bears are probably, well, maybe they had mixed feelings, because if people were traveling less, it means less people probably driving through like national parks and feeding them.
Right.
So less easy food. But clearly, I think that's a ruse anyway. The bear's begging for food. I mean,
yeah,
they're just doing it to do it. They've got a whole society. Clearly, they have food and everything back in.
Right. They have some patsies out there to act like rubes.
Right.
Like they're begging for food, or like they care about picnic baskets.
Yeah.
When really they got this whole other economy going. You're right. Yeah. Those bears.
Yeah.
They got it over on us.
And now that you mentioned Yogi, though, I do. These bears wear more clothes than Yogi, but they still stick with the tradition of no pants. Or at least the male bears.
Correct.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
I
It's a little disconcerting.
It is a little disconcerting, but
So much else going on in the world but apparently
they put on some pants.
the bear physiology cannot tolerate pants for any long period of time.
I believe that's a proven fact.
Yeah, well, it's demonstrated in this cartoon at least.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
Ties, collars, sometimes hats.
Yeah, above the waist, formal. Below the waist, anything goes.
That's right. So anyway, everybody goes off to their trips, and they're going to the airport, and Teddy goes to the airport and asks for a ticket to Christmas.
Yeah. A ticket to Christmas.
Yeah. I want to go to Christmas, I think he says.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
he gets laughed out of the airport.
He really does. That's interesting customer service there. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What would you think would happen if you went into if you went to the local airport and asked for a ticket to Christmas?
Yeah.
Would you be indulged, or would you be carted off in handcuffs? Maybe a straitjacket. Because people don't really have the time for jokes anymore in airports.
That's true. Yeah, you'd have to find it, a not busy time.
Yeah. And good luck this time of year.
Yeah, can happen, but
because everybody behind you, instead of like chuckling, they'd be like mad, like, why is this guy wasting our time?
Yeah, I don't think it would go well. You might not get carted away in handcuffs, but they might take you in the back and give you a talking to.
Yeah.
Casino style.
Yeah. A talking to.
Wait, that made it worse than getting carted off.
Yeah, I'd almost rather get carted off than get a talking to.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to try that.
Yeah, neither am I.
No.
Neither am I. It doesn't work out well for Teddy Bear. He's humiliated.
Yeah. And he just goes off in the woods.
Yeah.
He's going to find Christmas.
He's going to do something in the woods.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's going to find Christmas. That'll be the one thing that we know that we don't know that he can do.
Yeah. And I was actually like, I didn't quite watch it a second time, but I was kind of fast forwarding to find some stuff last night, and noticed something that I somehow missed. Maybe I looked away or something. But in his journey in the woods, he runs into some trouble. At one point, he hears wolves or coyotes howling, and he goes in a cave. And there's you only see its eyes, but there's a big scary animal that growls at him in there. What do you think that is? It a bear?
Is it another bear?
Is it a wild bear? Are there civilized bears and wild bears?
I don't know. We're not sure that it's a bear, but it wouldn't really make sense for it to be something besides a bear.
No, it's a cave.
But it doesn't make sense for it to be a bear either.
No. Is that just some kind of joke?
Yeah.
Like a gag?
Yeah.
It's not quite a gag show.
No. Something kind of. Is it something supernatural? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It looks scary. He runs away from that. He falls through some ice on a pond that luckily appears to be very shallow.
Yeah, fortunately for him.
Well, he doesn't fall under the ice and have the ice refreeze over you.
No.
Bit.
You lose more bears that way.
And finally, he makes it to the city.
The city, yes.
I don't think it's clear it's based on Manhattan, on New York City. Yeah. I don't know if it's specifically New York.
Yeah, it's just it's never named. There aren't any real specific landmarks, like you say.
No, there are things that look like things.
It's vaguely, just as far as like tall buildings and
size. Like there's a Times Square-y kind of area.
Yeah.
Big glittering signs. Broadway part of Times Square, not the other part of Times Square that would have been in full action in 1973.
Yeah.
A scene on HBO's The Deuce. There's sort of a Rockefeller Plaza type thing. On the way in, he's on a bridge, and
that's right.
And shouts across the traffic at the toll booth operator. Ask where Christmas is. Like, try 33rd Street.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You always get a snappy answer from from a New Yorker.
Right. Nobody seems bothered by the fact that it's a bear asking.
Only in New York, kids. Only in New York.
It's like, yeah. It's a little hairy guy. No pants.
Yeah, he just blends right in.
Yeah. I think I saw a bear walking around New York when I was there.
Oh, yeah?
Recently. Yeah.
Did he have pants on?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
Anyway, so he goes wandering the city looking for Christmas. Almost gets run over. And I did, like, I kind of mentioned a little bit, like I liked the design of the buildings and things.
Mm-hmm.
Gave it a very, like, off-kilter feel. And it does, you're right, the mood changes. Because it's nighttime and it's urban and...
Yeah, there's a little more whimsy to the first part, and it's like, oh, it's a bear world, but then he goes to the real world, and it's sort of more sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sort of becomes more like a children's, like the first half seems more like a TV special.
Yeah.
Like a TV cartoon, and then the second half seems more like a children's book to me.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I think so. And he stops at the window of a toy store and sees, like, a Christmas tableau going on, train and everything. So he goes in, and then you get one of those, like, sequences that clearly animators like doing that aren't always as entertaining to me, to the audience, I think. There's just a lot of stuff going on and a song playing and things, and he's riding the train, and there are little toy soldiers and ballerinas and little girl watching him through the window, who he waves to, and this, unexplained, but I guess maybe, like Toy Story, the toys are sentient.
Yes.
And they don't have a problem talking to him. Presumably they don't talk to human beings. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's from a teddy bear world.
That would make a little bit more sense.
They're not animal bears.
Yeah,
they're toy bears.
You're right. So that makes perfect sense.
Right.
I can accept that.
There's humans, there's bear, there's the world we know, then the living toys, and the bears have, many toy bears have gone and, like, left home and formed their own society.
Right. Well, what I like about that is that doesn't pose as much of an existential threat to us as the other scenario does.
Yeah. Because they probably don't, that might explain the honey thing, because they don't actually need to eat because they're toys. Mm-hmm. They're just making honey for, there's still that. Who's the consumer of that honey, but the airplanes that really aren't flying that high because they're toy airplanes.
Could be.
I don't know. But anyway, the toys tell them, that Christmas is almost over, and they're going to be back in the store.
Yeah, it's like if they don't get bought,
yeah,
that's it for them. They won't get to experience Christmas either because they'll be.
That's right. Until next year.
Yeah, they'll be put away for another year.
Yeah, which is an optimistic view of what happens.
What the alternative?
To merchandise gets returned.
Yeah.
Scrapped.
Maybe there's a secondary market. They might not,
Yeah, they could end up at Big Lots.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? It'd probably be better to be scrapped or put in a trash dump. Come to think of it.
Yeah. Melted.
Yeah. Well, there goes one potential sponsor if we ever go that route.
Maybe two. We probably lost the bear lobby.
I think we probably have, yeah.
So, yeah, and he ends up in the back. Did he get... I don't know. Somehow he ends up in the back.
Yeah, he's just kind of like...
He's trying to get out.
With the confusion.
Yeah.
One of those things where he's just sort of like caught up with them.
Yeah. Falls through a garbage chute and in, a seedy alley, he meets Santa Claus.
Yeah, of course, Some people like to meet Santa Claus at the mall. Other people like to go to a seedy alley and get their picture taken with him. It's up to you.
Well,
I'm not judging.
And Santa tells him like to go to this apartment, and he'll find
Seems
Christmas
legit.
there. Yeah.
A guy in a red suit at nighttime, in the middle of the night, in a seedy
Yeah.
alley, gives you an address, and you go there. Why not?
Hey.
What could go wrong?
And Teddy Bear is so, caught up in his dream that he goes, okay. It seems a little. I think he does say it seems a little weird, but
Yeah, he'll go with it.
okay.
Well, at least this guy's giving him some answers. I mean, in Bearbank, he was getting nothing but grief, and
All right.
he comes to New York, and everybody's cooperating with him. And well, I should say the city. He goes to the city, and everybody's cooperating and giving him answers. So
Yeah.
nobody's let him wrong yet.
Nope. And he goes into this apartment, and I mean, I guess they're maybe a less fortunate family a little bit.
I think that's supposed to be the idea.
Yeah. Because they don't have much under the tree, and
Yeah.
and he falls asleep under the tree a little bit.
Right, and like one of the parents says to the other one, "Doesn't look like there's a lot under the tree." Or they actually say something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Sort of vocalizing that.
Yeah.
So it's a couple and a little girl.
Yeah. And he does fall asleep a little bit, and Santa shows up again and wakes him up because he's almost missed Christmas.
Yeah.
But he's like, I forget exactly. Maybe they're in another room, and he's like, if you go in there, you'll find Christmas. And the little girl picks him up, and it's, she knows it's the bear from the store, and he could, a song of some kind, and words like joy, and that was it was like stylized, like, it turns into silhouettes and different colors, and these words popping up on the screen.
Yes, and we learn a valuable lesson. Christmas is inside yourself.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
That's
that
what
lesson.
Christmas is. With all our lessons about bear societies and sentient toys, we seem to have missed the whole point of the show. Now that I think about it, we got a little off track, didn't we?
Yeah. I guess I got distracted by it. Yeah.
Yes, Christmas is inside yourself, everybody. It's not something you go to. It's not something you buy a ticket for.
Right.
It's not something you find in a seedy alley in the middle of the night. Well, maybe you can, but really, it's inside yourself.
Yeah.
That's a good message.
Right. And the little girl puts Teddy Bear in a little bed by her bed, and he finally falls asleep.
Yeah, and he's essentially the gift.
Yeah.
But we were reminded too that the best gifts, they're not ones that you can buy.
Right.
They're ones that walk in off the street and
magically
magically make their way under your tree.
Right.
Those are the best gifts.
Yeah.
I know that's always true, with me over the years.
Yeah.
The stuff I remember, it's not something that Santa brought or anybody bought for me.
No,
It's
it's
stuff that just wandered
stray
in off
animals
the street.
and
Yeah. That I embraced and did a little dance around the room with.
Yeah. And I guess, he's sleeping now, so he'll sleep through the winter. When he wakes up, they might be in for a rude awakening. The family.
That's true.
Like, we thought you were a toy.
Yeah.
We've got to feed you? And then you're useless for 3 months?
Yeah. He's going to be a real burden on them.
Yeah.
If they had troubles putting stuff under the tree, wait till they try to fill that pantry when that bear's
I know.
gets hungry.
Because, as we know, the bears eat enough to cover that 3 months. It's not like you might not have to pay for food those 3 months, but you're going to have to pay a little extra every other month.
Well, it's a big question of whether he's a toy bear or a real bear.
Yeah.
And that's going to really make the difference for this family through this winter.
I think so. And,
The stakes are pretty high.
and meanwhile, back in Beartown, or whatever it's called, what are the other bears going to think?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, so Teddy Bear is gone.
Yeah.
So he's left his friend behind. I don't know if that's his girlfriend or not. He's left
Right.
his job.
I guess he's just another crazy bear that wandered off
Yeah.
looking for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they move on without him.
Well, Patty apparently does, because in this Amazon version, There's another 15 minutes of stuff.
Yeah, stuff is a good way to describe it.
And she's the star of that, and not voiced by Barbara Feldon.
No,
Also not animated.
no.
Someone in a Patty Bear costume.
Yeah,
And now she's the anchor of Bear Witness News.
yeah, and it's like a live action, low production value kind of deal.
Yeah,
Would that be fair to say?
that would be very fair.
And I have no idea what it is and what it's doing there.
It seems to go with books, and that's. I mean, I did. Somehow I missed that the cartoon was based on a book, so then I was confused because I thought, oh, so they made books based on the cartoon. I mean, so she tells these different stories, more adventures of Teddy Bear, who apparently moved back, or moved to Bearbank.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole mythology's uprooted. And then they showed pictures from these and really nice illustrations.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly they look like children's book illustrations, like watercolor. And
Yes.
and she tells these stories in a very non-journalistic, just a non-news way. She basically tells stories.
Yeah, it's more like story time rather
Right, yeah.
than news. It's a little unprofessional.
But I did see that, like in the 80s, there was at least a teddy bear you could buy.
Yes.
So maybe they put out more books.
I think so.
Or this was a series of books already.
Yes, and there was an attempt at a revival, and they had another animated special called The Great Bear Scare, which I think was like Halloween themed.
Oh, is that okay? Because a lot of these stories she told, one had to do with like a version, like a Thanksgiving. I don't know. They somehow mixed up Thanksgiving and the Rose Bowl parade.
Yeah, I'm going to make a confession. I did not watch the entire post thing. I fast forwarded through a little bit of that.
That's probably a good idea. And so Teddy Bear and his buddy, they made a float about the true spirit of Thanksgiving. You know, because bears came over here and basically the whole thing. They were hungry and then they got some help and they had Thanksgiving.
Let me guess. Thanksgiving is in us too. Christmas is inside us. Thanksgiving is inside us.
Well, after we eat.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a lot inside us.
Yeah. And then there are like two different things involving like this mountain full of monsters, like Dracula and stuff. They live in this mountain, and one of them, Teddy brings Christmas to the monsters, and the other one is like more Halloween, like again, but the monsters are going to come down from the mountain and take over, and he somehow convinces them not to. I don't know.
I did not watch this whole thing. I kind of checked in again and
Right.
towards the end to see if there was some kind of explanation or some kind of
No, there's just like
justification for it, but
a little logo at the end for something.
Yeah.
But so I would, if you want to experience a little bit, watch a few minutes of it just for the weirdness.
yeah.
But it's definitely difficult to sit through.
And there's no sign of this.
No,
When you on the Amazon version, there's no sign that this is there.
right.
It's weird because you can see that the running time is way longer than it should be because it's a 24, 25 minutes TV
Yeah.
special, but it's a nice little bonus feature, I guess.
Yeah.
And I did not watch The Great Bear Scare either, but it's
I don't know that.
it's on YouTube
Okay.
as of this recording, and it's much lower quality animation.
I bet they had to get Dick Smothers.
Yeah.
The voice.
NBC always liked him best. I just wanted to use him again.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Before we have not mentioned one of the big participants in this show, the narrator
Oh yeah.
of The Bears Slept Through Christmas,
Yeah.
Battle of the Network show's favorite,
That's right.
the
Returning.
legendary Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
He does a good job of the narration on this, and I don't really have anything else interesting about it.
No.
I just wanted to mention it.
Right, and the professor, you mentioned him briefly,
Oh yeah,
and that's Artie Johnson, is that?
yes, that is true.
Who I confess I didn't know who that was, and I looked up like, oh, okay, it's the guy that played the German on Laughing.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's just one of those cartoon things. Oh, professors are German.
Yeah.
Like the one for, like the Disney one.
Oh, Ludwig von Drake.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was a very similar performance to that.
It is, yeah. And sort of like the theme of that almost remind me a little bit of Professor Whoopi, too, from Tennessee Tuxedo.
Yeah.
Uh, bringing out, doing diagrams. And, yeah, it's a nice little turn by Artie Johnson. So
Yeah. I don't understand how credits always work on these things. So Tommy Smothers, obviously, and Barbara Feldon should, are in the opening credits.
Mm-hmm.
And then he is, for the one bit.
Yeah.
Casey Kasem, you got to go to the other voices section.
Yeah, I guess back at the time, I guess he was more of like a working man's
Yeah.
actor, not necessarily the legend he would become.
Right.
And you do notice another returning favorite, Michael Bell, the voice of Zan,
Oh, yeah.
was
yeah.
also a voice talent. I believe he voiced.
Might have been the boss.
Yes, I believe he voiced the boss.
Or the buddy. Yeah.
So, hey, a lot of symmetry here.
Yeah.
It's a good time when we celebrate the holidays to welcome back old favorites. And we certainly did with this special.
Right.
So, do we have anything else to say about the Bear Who Slept Through Christmas? Were you going to make this part of your annual holiday viewing?
We'll see.
What if Taye Diggs shows up in it? Would that influence your decision?
Well, anything with Taye Diggs.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe he's working on a remake of it.
Yeah, he's been sitting on the rights to the property for
Yeah.
years, and he's just waiting.
Right.
He wants to do a feature film.
That's why his
version of it.
picture showed up. It's
Yeah.
like, I want you to know I'm involved.
That's like his dream project.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll in a feature length they'll expand on some of this stuff that we didn't that wasn't covered in the TV special.
I hope so. Like a computer animated.
Yeah,
I could see them, spending a lot of time on world building.
yeah.
I would love to watch the featurettes on that.
I'd be curious. I'm. It's probably turned up somewhere, but if you're out there, if you've seen The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas after 1978, let us know. Especially if it's if you remember watching it on TV growing up, because I do not.
Something it seemed vaguely familiar,
Yeah.
but not in the way, like almost like maybe it aired in syndication after that.
That would make sense.
Like, for some reason, I'm associating it with these, which have nothing to do with Christmas, but they were like animated versions of Ricky Tikki Tavi and
Yeah.
maybe even like a non-Disney Jungle Book.
You get like the SFM Holiday Network or something, and they show like around, like they show these like animated movies on like a holiday weekend or something, like a Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay.
And had like its own logo, and I think that might be kind of what they might have even distributed, like the Ricky Tikki Tavi. But
Yeah.
I think I kind of know, like maybe like on a Sunday afternoon or some weird time that you'd see something like this, and that's a good point. That might be where something like this turned up.
Yeah. But again, the bear did not sleep through Christmas.
He did not.
No. He caught a little bit of a nap.
Yeah.
Then he slept after Christmas.
Yeah, and then he terrorized that family for the rest of the winter.
And since we learned Christmas is inside you, it's impossible to sleep through Christmas. Even when you're asleep, Christmas is there.
Another indication that Teddy Bear was just a big dope. He had Christmas all along, and he never realized it.
Right. It did. You would think maybe he would go back to Bear Society to proselytize. Yeah. Spread the good news.
Yeah. Tell them all about Christmas.
Right. And say you can sleep because it's inside you.
Yeah.
Or maybe even suggest, let's just all celebrate Christmas, on hibernation Eve. We'll make that our Christmas. Then we'll go to sleep and everything will be good.
Those are dangerous ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I'll bet would happen to him if you went back to Bear Bank or whatever and said that kind of thing? You know what would happen to him? He'd get a talking to.
Whoa. From C. Emery Bear?
Yes.
We don't want that.
No.
Stay in the city, Teddy Bear. Hopefully that little girl, who would be, a little older than us. So,
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, now.
Like,
Yeah. So she probably, maybe she kept Teddy Bear and then she passed him on to her kids. She's like, here, you deal with this.
Yeah, you deal with this. He's a curse that gets handed down from generation to generation. It's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. Maybe move near the woods.
Yeah.
It's easier to clean up. Just go out there, Ted.
Right.
Take care of. A lot to think about with this.
Indeed, there is.
Maybe we need a whole year to think about it and to determine whether to watch it again.
Yeah, we can sleep on it, right?
Right. I wish.
We're going to hibernate through our 4th season.
Yeah. That's right. We'll be back in the spring. All right. Happy holidays.
Yep. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And wherever you celebrate, have a good time.
Yep. Remember, it's inside you.
Exactly. This episode brought to you by the Organic Honey Works, providing all your honey needs 3/4 of the year. This episode also brought to you by Bear Air, home of hibernation packages to suit every bear's needs, except that weirdo Ted. This episode also brought to you by Battle of the Network Shows. Happy holidays! Join us next time for another exciting episode of Battle of the Network Shows. Learn more, leave feedback, and suggest future episodes at battleofthenetworkshows.com. Follow us on Twitter at BatNetShows and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Battle of the Network Shows.